Hey, this is Ben coming to you from Ben's Den. I just returned from the Salem Timberlane dual meet tonight. Timberlane ended up winning at 49, I believe 16. Let me double check that. 42-19, excuse me. Overall, really competitive duel, some great matches, specifically that 106 match with Ryan O'Rourke of Salem, coming out in ultimate ride out. He was put on the bottom. Timberlane wrestler chose top in that final 30-second ride out. And what an amazing reversal at the very end. Literally no time, whistle blown, 2 goes up on the board, and Ryan O'Rourke takes the 106 match tonight there. Unfortunately, Salem fell a little short in the dual meet, but it was competitive the whole way through. Energy was great in the place. Senior night for the Timberlane wrestlers. There were 8 of them tonight that were recognized for their service at Timberlane, and they're going to be moving on. Most notably, obviously, is Connor McGonigal, the senior Timberlane captain, as well as D1 commit to Lehigh. So congratulations to him on also becoming the all-time wins leader at Timberlane. A couple more matches to go, but I'm pretty sure he's going to keep that streak alive while he's here in New Hampshire. So congratulations to the Timberlane Owls, and you know, we're coming up on the postseason here real soon. So a lot of those matches we saw tonight, we might see them again in some of the D1 and MOC tournaments coming up. So unfortunately, I don't have any interviews to provide for you tonight. I came across a first tonight in that I was put in a media blackout. I had one of the Timberlane assistant coaches come by to me after the dual meet, who politely asked me to not talk to any of the kids tonight. And I gotta be honest, I was taken a little aback by that. Not sure how to interpret it. Now, obviously, my human reaction is to take that personal, like, hey, what did I do where I can't talk to the kids? So I started to think about that on the ride home. And I just want to acknowledge my wife, Jada, for those of you that know her. She spoke to me on the way home and kind of brought up some points as to why that might have happened. So I'd like to address that this evening real quick and, you know, just kind of get it off my chest. So here it goes. So as we all know, there was a report that came out that was published by the Salem head coaches, the Salem High School head coaches, regarding questionable recruiting practices of Timberlane. So my only assumption, since I have no other reason as to why I wouldn't be able to talk to a high school wrestler, I don't know. That's the only thing I can come up with. Now here's the funny thing, and I want to make this clear for everybody. And again, I thank everybody who pays attention to the videos and who you know, thanks me and finds me at these wrestling tournaments to say, hey, keep up the good work. My aim here is to only just shed light on the sport of wrestling here in New Hampshire and allow people to see what these kids do, how hard they work, the sacrifices and the commitments that they have to make. It's like unlike any other sport in high school. And you know, being a former high school wrestler and having lived that experience, I understand what it takes to get to the level that they're trying to get to. So that's always my intention. More than anything, I just really appreciate the connection with the kids and talking with them. As I said, you know, over my time, I've spent some time at Smitty's. I've coached the YMCA, currently at MPAL. I see a wide range of kids from different clubs. I'm open to working with anybody. If you want to learn how to wrestle or you just want to wrestle, then I'm in. So I digress. Back to this evening, media blackout. Funny thing was, there's really no media there. It's me. I'm not a journalist, don't want to be, don't claim to be. Could really care less about the politics of wrestling, and quite honestly, I think that that is part of the problem here. So this report was posted on WrestlingNewHampshire.com, and if you followed along with my interviews, part of my intro is you know, Ben's Den and WrestlingNewHampshire.com. So just to clarify for everybody, I don't work for WrestlingNewHampshire.com. I'm not officially affiliated with them. That is a website run by somebody else who is responsible for the content that is put on that website. Now that being said, the report that was posted on WrestlingNewHampshire.com was in fact public already, and sharing it, I don't know that it caused any more issues than it would have if it was not shared on that website. That being said, again, I don't control the content on there. I'm not really too particularly interested in the report, what it has to say. It's not my cup of tea. It's not what I'm around the sport for. But it exists, and obviously it's kind of rippled down into my life on this level. I just want to say that I think that Coach Chuligan made a mistake tonight in not allowing me to chat with the kids. My interest has nothing to do with that report, how he recruits, and quite honestly, I respect Barry Chuligan. I think that his record speaks for itself. Whether I respect him or not, I'm sure is irrelevant to him. Nonetheless, I do respect the job and the commitment that he's had to these kids for decades. I competed against him as an athlete at Nashua High. So I very much appreciate what he's done for the sport. The dynasty that he's created at Timberlane is quite incredible, and should be a model for a lot of the other programs in our state. With the success that he's had, the sheer length of dominance that Timberlane's had, it says a lot about what he does at that program. And I don't care how much you recruit. You can't create a program like that, even if you are recruiting. Are they recruiting? They haven't been convicted of anything. There's nothing. There's all this rumors, all this hearsay, and all this other stuff. And again, I could care less. Forgive my language. I don't really give a shit. What I do care about is celebrating these kids. And when Coach Chuligan decided to not let me speak to his kids tonight, does it really matter? Probably not. Nobody really cares that much about what I'm saying or who I'm interviewing, but there's some people out there that do care. And it would have been nice to celebrate a kid like Connor McGonigal on his senior night. Take the time to speak with him and let him speak about his experience and what it's been like being high level like he is, and wrestling in New Hampshire and traveling around the country to be able to hone his skill. I had intentions of talking to his mother and his father. I spoke to them before the meet started, and they were open to that. And I just wanted to get their feedback on what their experience was supporting Connor through the last decade of getting ready for Lehigh, where he's heading right now, and who knows what's after that. Again, unfortunately, without being able to talk to Connor or some of the other kids that are on the Timberlane program, I didn't really feel right trying to pull Mr. and Mrs. McGonigal to the side. And I hope that down the road I'll be able to get some access to those Timberlane wrestlers as well as the parents, because I think the main thing here that is upsetting to me is that we're all heading towards the same goal. We want good kids that become good adults, and we're using wrestling as that vehicle to get us there. And there's some challenging times happening right now, and there's always going to be waves when we're growing programs and trying to grow the sport. However, keeping me away from those kids solved nothing tonight. I'm not quite sure I understand the method behind the madness, but again, I respect Coach Chuligan, and so I'll have to respect that decision. What I'd like to say is again, I appreciate everybody taking the time to watch the videos that I do with these kids. I do it out of the sheer love for the sport. I would never do anything to put any of these kids in a bad position. And before I talk to any of them, I make sure that there's no lava underneath that might pop up when I'm talking to them, because I'm very conscious about how when anything's said on social media, it can be blown out of proportion, misinterpreted, and the last thing that a young woman or man who wrestles needs is that kind of headache. Not my intention, not my goal. It's not what I'm up to. So, again, a great duel tonight by both teams. Congratulations to Timberlane. Salem looked excellent, and really gives me a lot of excitement coming up to the postseason this coming February. So, I'm hoping this year we get to see something a little different at the MOCs. I stopped by the NHIA meeting this year, preseason. They were kind enough to let me come in and speak, and I gave them some thoughts on what I thought we might be able to do to make some improvements to the MOC, to make it more of an event. And not just for the hardcore fans. We're always going to be there. It doesn't matter whether you put some grass outside and we chalk it out to have a mat. We're going to wrestle. But in order to grow the sport, we got to grow interest in the sport from spectators. And those spectators that are young can turn into wrestlers. So how can we do that? And the answer is absolutely not doing the same thing. I don't know what the answers really are, but I am sure that doing the same thing over and over and over again is not what's going to get us where we want to go as a program. It's fatiguing to listen to the coaches complain about kids that are not up to the task or up to the challenge and how the numbers are dwindling. Yet when there's an opportunity to make a change or to try a change and just see what might work, the coaches are against it. They won't take that leap of faith that let's try it, see how it works. If it doesn't, we try something different. And that's stifling our sport. It stifles everybody in their own personal lives, and it stifles our communities because we just assume that by doing the same thing, something's gonna change. It's just not gonna work. So I'm really hoping to see a couple of tweaks this year from the NHIAA. You know, there's a group of fine men that have been in service to this sport for a long time, and I worry their complacency and their unwillingness to try something new is a large part of our problem here in the state of New Hampshire and specifically around the wrestling. So that being said, again, I just want to take some time to kind of clear the air. I work for no one. I'm just me, and I just want to get in touch with the kids and the coaches and hear about their experience on that wrestling mat and share that with everybody out there. And hopefully down the road, we're not talking about growing the sport. We're talking about how do we improve the sport for the numbers that we have. So again, I appreciate everybody's time. We have some big wrestling coming up here over the next couple of weeks, so you'll be hearing from me one way or the other. Whether the coaches want to let me talk to the kids or not, you can bet your asses you're going to hear from me. Thank you.